Testing. Is this thing on? It is. Yes, we are back. Back with another video. I am your host with the most from the Dynastyers podcast, your boy, Darius Capers. Check me out on Twitch at Kung Fu Cape TTV. Also, do me a favor and check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Darius Capers. And do me a favor also, give this YouTube channel a sub. Sub to the Dynastyers podcast channel, man. We are 5, count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs away from 200 subscribers. Might not seem like a lot to some, man, but we've been at this for 4 to 5 months and we're already hitting 200, man. So we going for it. 200 today, 2,000 tomorrow. That's our motto. So please give us a sub, man. Help us reach that 200 sub goal, and we're going to keep going up. Also, do me a favor and give the Instagram channel a follow as well, man. Follow the Dynastyers podcast Instagram channel. We post a lot of clips on there, mostly football stuff from our full podcast episodes. If you don't want to miss it, follow there as well. And we are also doing a giveaway. We do a lot of our giveaways on Instagram, so make sure you tap in. We gave away Dreamville tickets a few months ago, and we're doing something extremely large for this 200 sub goal. So please do me a favor and tap in. We don't want you guys to miss out on that. And last but definitely not least, I'd be remiss if I don't shout out one of our partners. Shout out to the Capers Cares Foundation, man. The Capers Cares Foundation, they are taking over 100 boys and girls to see The Little Mermaid. Yes, Hal Bailey's The Little Mermaid. All expenses paid, man. So if you want to donate, if you want to tap in to see how you get tickets, follow the Capers Cares Foundation, man. Let's get into the video, though. So, for all of those NBA fans that know, yesterday the NBA draft lottery took place. And now we know the order of the lottery draft picks. The San Antonio Spurs were the luckiest team, and they won the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, and now they have the first overall pick, and they will be able to take him in this upcoming draft. And that is why I'm here today. I'm here today to give y'all my mock draft for the lottery of the NBA. First 14 picks of the first round, and I'm going to tell y'all the perfect prospect with the perfect team. So let's get into it. First round, first pick. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. San Antonio Spurs are on the clock, and they'll be on the clock for 2 seconds because they're taking Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama stands at about 7'3", has an 8-foot wingspan, and man, there's nothing on the basketball court he can't do. He averages about 22 points a game, 11 boards, about 3 blocks a game. He can put the ball on the floor, shoots about 48-49% from the field, shoots the tray ball, shoots free throws at about an 80% clip. It's literally nothing on the floor this kid can't do, man. At 19 years old, 20 years old, his upside is enormous. Now, the only thing I disagree with this regarding this kid is the fact that people are saying he's the best prospect since LeBron James, has the most hyped prospect since LeBron James. I disagree. Now, me being a Duke fan, I remember what Zion Williamson represented for college basketball when he was attending Duke. I remember the hype he had coming into the league. They said he was a mix of what? Charles Barkley and LeBron James. Like, he had hype as well. His passing skills, his rebounding, his defensive ability, his ability to kill you in the paint. It's a lot of prospects that have been hyped up, but there have been little with the ceiling of this kid. I'll say that. So I don't feel like he's the greatest prospect, even greater than LeBron James. I don't feel like he's a more hyped up prospect than Zion Williamson. I feel like he falls somewhere in the middle between both of those guys, but that does not mean that he can't be a star at the next level. I truly feel like the Spurs will get him with that young core, and they will be able to compete in the next year or two and honestly be back on top where they were. He'll be able to play with Zach Collins and play without Zach Collins. He has that versatility. I do feel like I mentioned, he needs to put a little weight on, but that's going to come with time as he gets his grown man body. So, first round, first pick, San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama. Pick 2, Charlotte Hornets. Now, the previous 2 to 3 years I was living in the Charlotte area, man, I've been to a couple of Charlotte Hornets games, and that's a great atmosphere, man. I was hoping and praying and hoping that they won this lottery so they could get Victor Wembanyama. But they unfortunately got the first round, second pick in the draft. So with that first round, second pick in the draft, I have the Charlotte Hornets taking Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson is the second best player in this draft, in my opinion. He's an explosive guard. I truly feel like with his defensive ability, he can play on ball with LaMelo Ball. He can play off ball when LaMelo Ball is running the point. And he can honestly even run the second unit when LaMelo's taking breaks. I feel like he does what LaMelo doesn't do well, and that he has the ability to take the better of the backcourt guys. He's a little better athlete. He's not as playmaker-y as a LaMelo Ball. He's not as great of a playmaker as a LaMelo Ball, but LaMelo is a slightly better three-point shooter. LaMelo has that 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guard size where LaMelo will have no problem with sliding to the 2. And with the way the NBA is going now, you need numerous ball handles on the floor at one time. And I believe Alex and I actually discussed this on the episode prior. Could LaMelo and Scoot work? I think they can. I don't see why not. Now, Brandon Miller, a lot of people might say that's a more seamless fit. They need a wing. They still have Gordon Hayward on their roster. I don't know if they're going to bring him back next year. They're going to look to trade him or they're going to look to cut him. But if they're looking to compete, Scoot would be a more seamless fit at that 2-guard spot. Maybe look to move Terry Rozier, get what you can for him, because he has more value than Gordon Hayward. So if you take Brandon Miller, it could be a logjam there with PJ Washington, with Gordon Hayward. They have a couple of wing players already. So I say take Scoot. I say look to see what you can get for Terry, and let that be your backcourt of the future. Mark Williams at the 5. I mean, that's a young core for the future. So, first round pick 2, the Charlotte Hornets are taking Scoot Henderson. Pick 3, the Portland Trailblazers. This was the biggest jump of any team from the lottery, and they're kind of at a weird spot. If they would have got their second pick in the draft, I would have suggested them staying there, taking Scoot, maybe looking to move on from Dame. Just full rebuild, tear it all down, see what you can do. But with them coming up to pick 3 actually, Brandon Miller is sitting there for them. They've always needed a impact wing in Portland. I know it's been speculated that they'll look to trade that pick and try to get an impact guy that way. But if Brandon Miller is able to come in and compete tomorrow, even in a 3-and-D role, they have to consider taking him. Damian Lillard has needed a wing player his entire tenure in Portland, and I feel like Brandon Miller can be that guy. At 6'8", 6'9", he can shoot the 3, he can defend, he can put it on the floor. He has versatility to play the 3 or the 4 spot. With him and Jeremy Grant, they have 2 wing players that can compete. Now, the only thing about this is Dame willing to go through a rebuild? I don't know. He hasn't seemed like he'd be willing to demand a trade from Portland yet. So let's try to put as much talent around him before he gets to that point. And another thing with guard and Brandon Miller, I know is going to be a bunch of questions about his off-the-court stuff, all the stuff that he dealt with at Alabama. But if you can get him in a system, in a program, an NBA program where it's just basketball and he can focus on the game, I truly feel like he'll come to the next level and be fine. So, pick 3 in the first round, Portland Trail Blazers, staying pat, taking Brandon Miller. Pick 4. Pick 4 belongs to the Houston Rockets. They were one of the biggest losers of the draft lottery. But the Houston Rockets will be able to take Amen Thompson from Overtime Elite. Now, the Thompson twins are curious prospects for me. And I say that for this reason. So they were playing Overtime Elite against a lot of high school and former NBA players, but they're already 21 years old. So what is the ceiling for these guys? Do they have a 3-and-D ceiling? Do they have a do-it-all guard ceiling? I mean, I'm not quite sure. One of the things I do like about them, though, both of them, is their athletic ability. Their athletic ability, their ability to jump, run, move their feet. Their defensive upside is amazing. If they can get consistent 3-pointers, then they could be wing players that stick in this league and are able to actually compete. I mean, Amin's more of the playmaker, the point guard type. So I guess he works in Houston when you think about it, because they need a point guard. So if he can consistently be a 6-7 assist a game guy, 15 and 7 next to Jalen Green, helping him defensively, that's actually a seamless fit. Now, I've done talked myself into that fit because I liked Scoot to them a lot for the same reasons of Amin. And the only thing is, Amin is 6'6", 6'7", playing that point guard position. He also won MVP in overtime elite. So if he can bring that 15 and 7, 16 and 7 to the Rockets, they can have something. And even if they decide to bring James Harden back, James Harden comes to that young team, and they have a lot of young talent around him, man. A lot of young talent. So I've talked myself into that one. I like that one a lot, actually. Pick 4, Houston. They're going with Amin Thompson, the better of the Thompson twins. Pick 5. The biggest loser wasn't the Rockets, actually, because the Pistons were also one of those top 3 teams to get the first overall pick, and they fell to 5. So I guess 2K doesn't lie, because that happens on 2K a lot. But I have them staying at pick 5, and I have them taking Jarius Walker, power forward out of Houston. Now, I saw something that stated if they won the lottery, they'd be willing to trade Jalen Duren, but I feel like that could be a huge mistake because Jalen Duren is still young. He has such a high upside as a 5-man, and I feel like he could be an all-defensive team center within the next 2 seasons. So putting Jalen Duren and Jarius Walker next to each other with Jaden Ivey, with Cade Cunningham, that gives you a young core with major upside. I feel like the Pistons are a long way from competing, and adding as much young talent as possible that can defend around a Cade Cunningham, around a Jaden Ivey that are more so score-first guards, it'll do them well. It'll do them extremely well. I mean, Jarius Walker can stretch, he can dribble, he can defend. Like, he's a great prospect. He's a great tier 2 prospect. Of course, he's not on the level of the big 3, but as a tier 2 prospect, he can do a lot worse than him. And with him being a freshman, he's still young, so he can continue to grow with Detroit and give Detroit that forward that they need. So, pick 5, the Detroit Pistons, Jarius Walker. Moving on into that late lottery, pick 6, I have the Orlando Magic taking the other of the Thompson twins, Asur Thompson, out of overtime lead as well. Now, he's more of the off-ball Thompson twin. I have a comparison for him of like a baby Andrew Wiggins. He's more so of the 3-and-D wing. If he can consistently knock down a 3-ball, he's a crazy athlete, ability to defend off ball, attack, and transition. He can be a good guy for the Magic. The Magic, I feel like, need a point guard, but in terms of the point guards in this section, I wouldn't reach on an Anthony Black. I would go with a good defender because they're going to need some defense on that in that Orlando starting 5. I mean, with Banchero, with Wagner, those are 2 wings that think defense second. They're more so score first, play make, on ball type guys. I definitely feel like they could use a 2 guard that can defend. Whether they go with Jalen Suggs as a point guard, whether they go with Cole Anthony, whether they stick with Markelle, having Asur Thompson as that 2 guard gives them the ability to focus on offense, and he can take the better of the backcourt matchups. And that gives that young Orlando Magic core a guy with a ceiling that can be the number 2 to Banchero. So, yes, I like that a lot as well. I'm talking myself into a lot of these picks. Pick 6, Orlando Magic. Look at Asur Thompson. That'll work. Indiana Pacers at pick 7. I have them taking Cam Whitmore, wing out of Villanova. So, Cam Whitmore, man, he went to a big school and he did not disappoint, man. He's able to do everything. He's a great playmaker. He's able to knock down shots off the dribble. At 6'7", 6'8", he has the versatility to play both forward spots. He has the versatility to play on ball, off ball, depending on what the Pacers need him to be. He can be the second scoring option to the guard that they have. He can be a 3-and-D guy and be a role player. So with all of the talent that the Pacers are already building together, a guy like Cam Whitmore would come in there and be a tremendous find for them. I mean, at pick 7, I feel like he could end up being the steal of this draft as well. At that low of a pick 7, he's a talented guy, man. He's a truly talented guy. And with the Indiana Pacers, they already have a bunch of guards. That Halliburton's their guy. They already got Benedict Mathurin to play the 2. They need a guy that can slide into that 3/4 spot. I mean, do I like him more than Isaiah Jackson? I do. Do I like him more than a Jalen Smith? I do. And he can honestly even play with those guys. So whether they'd want to play him at that stretch 4 spot, whether they want to play him at that small forward spot, which is his normal position, I feel like he would fit seamlessly in whatever lineup they want to go with. And if they decide to tear it all down and rebuild, trade away Miles Turner, trade away Buddy Hield, or if they look to keep those guys and try to compete in the East next season, I feel like there's a path for both of those options. And a guy like Cam Whitmore in the deep wing East can really help them out. So pick 7, Indiana Pacers, Cam Whitmore. Pick 8, I have the Washington Wizards taking Grady Dick, freshman from Kansas, wing from Kansas. Now, this is he was honestly one of my favorite players from college basketball this past season. I just loved his game. He had a lot of responsibility at Kansas, really being one of their go-to scorers. And I feel like, again, the Wizards are a team, well, really any team can use wings. If you have quality 3-and-D wings, you're going to be successful. Look at teams like my Boston Celtics. Look at teams like the Miami Heat. Look at teams like the Denver Nuggets have a bunch of wings that can play on and off ball. So if I'm the Wizards, I'm looking to get a wing. You don't know if Bradley Beal is going to be there this year or not. You don't know if he's going to demand a trade this offseason. My best bet would be to try to put as much talent around him as possible. Whether we want to play him at the point, whether we want to play him at the 2, he needs guys that have 3-and-D potential. And Grady Dick being about 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", he falls in that 6'6" to 6'8" range. And he's a tremendous three-point shooter, man. He shot the lights out at Kansas this past year. He's able to play on the ball, and he's able to play off ball. He's just a versatile guy, man. I would love to see him in Washington play next to a guy like Bradley Beal and have his chances on ball, because they have a lot of young guys as well. Denny Abdi is there. They have wing players, but you can never have too many. If he can find his defensive IQ in the league, he can be a talent. Another one of those guys at this range, I would consider one of the steals of the draft. So pick 8, Grady Dick. Pick 9, the Utah Jazz. I feel like the Jazz could use a guard. I feel like they need guard help. Lauri Markkanen was a godsend, for them this year. Godsend. He did a lot for them. He was an all-star, and I feel like if they're able to get a guard that has versatility, it can be good for them. I have them taking Anthony Black, point guard / shooting guard out of Arkansas. He's not the most athletic guy. He won't wow you with his bounce or really his speed or anything of that nature. But at 6'5", 6'6", he doesn't have to wow you with his athleticism. He's able to play on ball, off ball, whether it's point guard, whether it's shooting guard. At 6'6", he's able to defend, but he's just not the quickest of feet. But he makes up for it with his size. He's such a great playmaker, man. To be a freshman in college, he sees the game like an NBA vet. So he'd be able to play on ball, play off ball. He can attack. I mean, 6'6", you can do a lot worse. And he's one of the better guard prospects in this class, just based off of the way he sees the game, his feel for the game, his size, his upside. I think if Anthony Black is there for the Utah Jazz at 9, I say they run to the podium because, like I said, he's a versatile guy, man. He's versatile. So pick 9, Utah Jazz, Anthony Black. Pick 10. I have the Dallas Mavericks at pick 10, taking another wing player. Like I said, wings I feel like are important in the NBA now. Have them taking Jet Howard, Michigan shooting guard / small forward. Another 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" wing that can shoot, dribble, defend, man. He's a versatile guy. With Dallas, man, they need guys around Luka. If they're bringing back Kyrie, they need guys that can defend. Their wing rotation that after the Kyrie Irving trade was pretty suspect. So I feel like they need to get guys that have that upside with the ability to defend on one end and can get buckets on the other end. I feel like Jet Howard can do that at that 6'7", 6'8" build. He'd be a great win now player. I mean, Dallas is competing. If they're not looking to compete, then Luka's going to look to get out of there. And they need to put guys around him that can play, that can knock down threes, because the offense is going to go through Luka. And if Kyrie comes back, Kyrie. So Jet Howard would be a tremendous fit. He'd be seamless. I like Grady Dick to go to them, but I had him going a little earlier just because he's the better catch and shoot guy. But Jet Howard's a pretty solid catch and shoot guy and defender himself. So I like that as well. Pick 10, Dallas Mavericks, Jet Howard from Michigan. Pick 11, Orlando Magic back on the clock via the Chicago Bulls. I have them taking a flyer on a guy. And I feel like they can. They've already decided to take a flyer on Michael. Excuse me, not Michael. I am tripping. They already decided to take a flyer on Markel. See, Michael, Michael, Mike, like, it's a bunch of stuff. They already decided to take a flyer on Markel Fultz, right? So with Keontae George, a guy out of Baylor that didn't have the greatest freshman year statistically or efficiency-wise, but in high school, he was such a talent, man. There's a reason he was a 5-star. It's a reason he committed to Baylor. He's able to play both guard spots. He's about 6'4"-ish, so he's a little undersized for the 2-guard spot. But the difference between him and the other undersized guards they have on their roster is that he can fill it up. He's a tremendous shooter. He can play off ball. He can play on ball and create his own shot. The only thing about him is he sometimes has defensive lapses. So he's essentially the complete opposite of one of their previous guards that they drafted. And I was a fan of him, but Keontae George, like I said, man, he's the complete opposite. He's more offensive, and so him coming into Orlando would work perfect because with the guard rotation they have, I would like to see a lineup with him and Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs be the playmaker, be the defender, be the slasher, be the athlete. The athletic guy. Keontae George is a pretty solid athlete as well. And then Keontae George be the off-ball shot creator, scorer, three-point shooter. I feel like that could be their young guard duo of the future because I truly feel like they're trying to figure out what they want to do at the guard spots. They already have 2 wings. They already have a big potentially in Wendell Carter and Bol. They're looking for maybe another wing player and what they're going to do with their guards. And so I have Orlando taking care of both of those needs in this draft. Pick 11, Keontae George, University of Baylor. Pick 12, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I actually have them taking the other Arkansas guard, Nick Smith Jr., out of Arkansas. So looking back on their team this previous year, it's interesting that they had 2 6'5" plus guards as their starting backcourt. And I know Arkansas was a veteran-led team as well, so maybe they didn't play as much together, but it's just interesting to see these guys as draft profile guys. Like Nick Smith being a 6'5" guy who's versatile playmaking wise. He has the ability to score on all three levels. Again, he's just not a crazy athlete, but putting him in the backcourt with a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a Josh Giddey, I love what Oklahoma City's doing with their young core. They have so much size as a team, and that's so much versatility because with Chet coming back next year, SGA, Josh Giddey, those are 2 oversized guards, a 7'1" power forward. Pokusevski's a 7-foot wing forward. They really could use a wing player, but with all the good wings going early, I feel like taking a guy like Nick Smith could give them starter versatility. If he were to come in and actually be an off-ball guy, start him at the 3. I mean, they have Jalen Williams to play the 3, so maybe they have their wing in the future. But why not get another oversized guard? Make a small lineup with 3 guards that are tall and a wing player and then a Chet. I feel like they're such a versatile team. Why not add to the versatility by adding another 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" point guard? Pick 12, Oklahoma City Thunder, Nick Smith Jr. at Arkansas. Pick 13, the Toronto Raptors. I feel like they're going to take a guard. It's been speculated that Fred VanVleet is looking to get the bag, and I don't see the Raptors paying him a max or near max contract just to miss the playoffs again or just to be in the play-in. So with Fred VanVleet leaving, I have the Toronto Raptors taking Kentucky freshman point guard Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace is another guy that great passer, great defender, ability to create off the dribble. He can shoot the 3. He can score on all 3 levels. He's not the craziest athlete with his size being about 6'2"-ish. So he's a little kind of undersized for the point that you like. But with his ability to just play the game the right way, you can do a lot worse than him as a replacement guard for Fred VanVleet. Because that was one of the things about Fred VanVleet that a lot of people love. His ability to play the game the right way. His ability to score off ball, play on ball, defend, make plays for, like, he can do it all. So with a guy like Cason Wallace coming into the league, he can do the same stuff. He's ability to play on ball, play off ball. And these Kentucky guards that have came into the league, I just love how, for instance, an Emmanuel Quickley, for instance, a Tyrese Maxey, they have limited roles at Kentucky, or with just being so much talent, essentially limited roles, but when they get to the league, they blow up. I feel like Cason Wallace has that ability to get to the league, get in the right situation, and truly blow up at the next level. So, pick 13, Toronto Raptors, Cason Wallace. It's a great value pick. Last but not least, the last pick of the lottery, the New Orleans Pelicans. I have them taking one of my guys from Duke, Dariq Whitehead, wing, freshman. So Dariq Whitehead he dealt with a lot of injuries this past season, man. He didn't play as many games as we hoped, but I mean, the potential's off the charts, man. 6'6", 6'7", wing scorer that has the potential to be a tremendous defender. I feel like he could help the Pelicans. The Pelicans are looking to compete next year. They're not looking to be out of the playoffs again. They're not looking to be in the play-in. They're looking to compete, potentially win the championship if Zion comes back healthy, if they bring everybody back. But I feel like they could use another wing player. Why not have a bunch of wings around a guy like CJ McCollum? They already have the Troy Murphys. They already have the Herb Joneses. But why not bring in a guy that has more potential than all of those guys? Potential on the level, dare I say, of a Brandon Ingram if he can get healthy. Dariq Whitehead was a 5-star prospect for a reason. If it wasn't for those knee injuries, he could have been looked at as a top 5, top 10 pick coming to Duke. It was points in the season when Dariq Whitehead was the reason we were in games. His tournament run he had was good. He was finally healthy, was able to stay on the court for long stretches. John Shire trusted him, and I would not be against the Pelicans front office considering taking a flyer on a Dariq Whitehead if he's healthy, because I know he was supposed to have another surgery, I believe, this offseason. If he's healthy, the Pelicans need to consider adding another Duke guy to that young core. Pick 14, I got Dariq Whitehead, freshman out of Duke. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the lottery. I really just wanted to give that with the draft lottery happening last night. Of course, I'm going to bring you guys the full first round mock. And if any trades happen, then like I did with the NFL draft, I'll just stop and then end up bringing you guys a full first round mock closer to the NBA draft. But I might want to go through it and do shorts similar to how I did for the NFL draft prior to that Chicago Bears trade. Y'all let me know in the comments which one y'all prefer. If y'all prefer these type videos or if y'all prefer the shorts breaking down each one of the picks, team, prospect type deal, the perfect matches for me. So, yeah, man, like I said, there goes the full lottery projected by myself, from the Dynastyers podcast. And if you guys made it to this part in the video, man, I truly, truly appreciate you guys for sticking with me, man. I love the NBA. I love the NFL. I love sports in general. And I'm just truly grateful that I can come on here, talk with you guys about what I love. And someone can agree with me. Someone can disagree. We can have conversations and we can go from there. So, again, man, I truly, truly, truly thank you guys for listening. If you got to this point in the video, again, I'm going to reiterate, please drop a sub to the Dynastyers podcast YouTube channel, man. 5 subs away from 200. We're doing a giveaway for 200. Please follow the Instagram page at the Dynastyers podcast as well. Please follow the Capers Cares Foundation on Instagram. We are going up this summer, man. It is up. It's up. Then it's stuck. Shout out to Cardi B. So, again, man, it's been your boy. It's been your boy, Darius Capers, signing off, man. Truly appreciate you guys again. Have a good one. Peace.